Hello, today we're going to be working on the Voge 300 Rally. So it comes as standard without a real bash plate, just this plastic cover there. So really for an off-road bike you want to have a proper bash guard of some sort. Should come with one from standard perhaps, but today we will be fitting this metal sump guard and this sort of louver plate as well that goes with it. So we're just going to start now by getting all the screws and bolts out of the original, and then we will get on with replacing that with the new one. So the engine guards need to come off first to give you access. So with those 4 bolts removed from the top and the bottom, that's the engine bash guards off. So with a 5mm Allen key, you just take the cap head screws out to get the original plastic guard off. So with the bottom and the top bolts out for the plastic guard, and the same on the other side, this whole lot will come out. Bear in mind these there are top hat washers. One of them's already fallen out. There is a plastic guard right underneath as well, but we're going to just leave that on. That'll end up being underneath the new one. So we have the bike on a centre stand here on the ramp, but the new guard goes all the way under there, so we'll need to take it off the stand to be able to get the new guard on. So this is the new AliExpress bash guard, which will be bolting up into there. It looks like it uses the rear mount there, which would have been for the center stand, which it doesn't have. So it wants a couple of bolts through there to hold the back on, and then it looks like it utilizes that there on the side, and then the ones there at the front. It does come with those clear big washers, and it does come with little rubber washers there, but there's no instructions, so you just have to kind of decide for yourself. Do you want the rubber on the inside between the metal to metal, or do you want the rubber on the outside acting like as a washer? And also there's a mismatch of bolts there. They've gave one of the bolts is a completely different type. It's almost like a countersunk screw rather to a button head. So we may just reuse a couple of the originals, especially for the front ones there, and maybe the originals for the side. We're going to sack the rubber washers off and the plastic washers and just go metal on metal. So we're going to put the louver bolts in the top first, and then put the bash guard up to there, and then the louver mounts go on top of the bash guard. Now we have the back section of the bash guard on. We've got the centre lift back in place, just whilst we go and nip everything up and then see if we can get the plastic side guards on just to finish it off. So this is where the original plastic would go on the side, but as you can see, the lugs on the inside will foul against the new bash guard to be able to get that one in. So you've got a choice of either leaving these off altogether or cutting these lugs off to make it fit. We thought about modifying the plastic side covers to get them back on, but as they will just be for cosmetics at the point where we've got this bash guard on, decided just to leave it off. There's a bit of a gap there that needs taking up, so we're just going to put a washer in there just to help. So we changed the bolts in this. The ones that came were really small head, and they were just wanting to pull through the washers. So we've just decided to put in a bigger 8mm bolt through there. Just putting the engine bars back on now, the crash bars, before we put the last bolts in at the top there, and then just nip all that up. So we've put some longer bolts in there, and we've also put the louver on the outside of the crash bar, and then we just need to tighten these ones up. You do see that that isn't the best of fit there, just on that corner, but those tabs will just tighten up and take shape. crash bar bolts getting tightened up now. They're the original ones. And there we have it, that's the final product. So you've got your bash guard all the way underneath, coming up the front, and then the metal louver there, and then the original crash bars. So the thing that we've not put back on is the plastic sides. So that's now missing the plastic sides there, but they're just going to be for cosmetic now anyway, so we've not bothered putting those back on. Thanks very much for watching that. If that's been of any use to you and you are considering getting a bash plate for your Voge 300 Rally, then please consider giving us a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.